Hello, so I'm going to tell you today about values cards. Values cards are a way of connecting with what really is important to you and about understanding what gives you and your life meaning. If you struggle with depression, these are a really helpful tool. I mean, even if you don't struggle with depression, they're really helpful. But they're really helpful to make sure that you're living what we would call congruently, which is in tune with what's meaningful and valuable to you. So the values cards, there's a little box, you get a box like this, and in them there are 60 cards. 3 of them are blank, so that if I haven't covered them or if they're not covered, then you can use your own. And they've got words on them. Sorry if you can't see that because it's mirrored, but humility, to be humble or modest, or to let my achievements speak for themselves, or fairness, to be fair to myself or others. So there's lots of little phrases like that, lots of different words that we might associate with values. So what we do with them is sort them into 3 different piles. The first pile is the pile that is, they're really important to you, they're really meaningful, they're things that you consider to be part of you as an integral part, as a human being. Then the second pile is they're kind of important, but they're not as important as the first pile. And the third pile is that they're not important at all. They're just a bit, I don't really care about those. So 3 different piles. So you sort your cards into those 3 piles. And then with your first pile, you narrow that down to between 6 and 9 cards after that, discarding all the rest for now. So the things to remember when doing this is it's not rigid, it changes all the time potentially. I've done them so many times now that I've probably got a fairly consistent theme through which ones are more valuable to me, but occasionally, depending on what's going on in my life, they might change a bit. So for example, honesty is really important to me. That would always be in my number 1 pile. But things like being sort of self-development might not always be in the first pile because it depends on what's going on in my work or my life. If I feel like I'm probably as enriched as I can be at the moment, or if I need a little break from it. So it may or may not be there. So do you see what I mean? It changes. The second thing I can't remember what number things we're on, but another thing to think about is to try and go really quickly with it, not to drag out, not to overthink it, just to go with your gut. If it feels right, pop it on number 1 or 2 or 3, whichever one it feels right for. And try to notice where you're thinking I should be these things. So if I should be patient, it's not your thought, that's not you, that's what you're being told you should be, that's your conditioning potentially. And then we want to look at removing those, and sometimes look at when noticing those shoulds, are they blocking the actual ones that really are important to you? That's a really helpful part of this exercise, to notice the shoulds. And I'll put this up on the Facebook page with this video, but I'll also send this, if you've already bought them, I'll send this to you. Then we use something called the bullseye, and the bullseye is a way of working out how in line you are living with those values. So for example, kindness is one, and at work you're being so super kind and you're helping everybody, probably too much, don't be unboundaried, but if you're being really kind at work, but then you get home and you've probably been so kind at work that actually being kind to your partner, your family, your children is maybe a bit tougher. We need to notice that. So we notice that maybe we need to stop being quite so kind at work so that we can move the kindness at home into the centre of the bullseye a bit. Does that make sense? So those are value cards. They're really helpful to do them sort of weekly, monthly, whatever suits you. If you just feel like you're struggling a bit and you feel like you've lost your identity a bit, they're really good for helping with that too. Just do it as and when you need to. But there's something I come back to all the time. We do them in all the wellbeing courses. We really get such good feedback from them because people find them so helpful to not realise that things like patience, for example, isn't that important to somebody, and that they feel like they should be. Being able to kind of let it go as it's just not that important to me is a real release, and can really help a lot with anxiety as well. So there you go, those are the values cards. I'm going to pop this up on Facebook now. I hope you're all having a good summer, And any questions, please feel free to just post below. All right, take care. Thanks. Bye.